Most retirees don't run out of money. They run out of time. Let me show you something that feels illegal once you see it. A friend of mine retired in 2007 with just over $600,000 in his 401k. His advisor told him the same thing millions of people hear. Withdraw 4%. Adjust for inflation. Never touch the principal. Fast forward 16 years. He's 79 years old. We ran into each other at a coffee shop. He opens his Schwab app and hands me his phone. $1.8 million. He's been spending money for over a decade and somehow has 3 times more than he started with. At first, this sounds like a lucky story. It's not. It's the default outcome. And that's the problem. Because if half of retirees end up with double or triple their money after spending it for decades, then the question isn't, is the 4% rule safe? The real question is, what did it cost them to follow it? Here's what nobody tells you. The 4% rule was never designed to help you live well. It was designed to help you never fail under the worst possible historical conditions. It was built for the guy who retired at the exact wrong moment, right before the Great Depression or the 1970s inflation crisis. That's a 1 in 100 scenario. And yet, we forced 100 out of 100 people to live like that unlucky guy. That's not safe. That's fear disguised as math. Let's talk about what the data actually shows. Michael Kitces analyzed rolling 30-year retirement periods going back to 1870. Real data, not guesses. Only 12 out of 115 periods ended with less money than they started with. That means 90% of retirees finished with more money than they retired with. 2/3 doubled it. Half nearly tripled it. This isn't a glitch. This is what happens when your portfolio grows faster than you're allowed to spend it. Now let's make this painfully real. You retire at 67 with $600,000. You're married. Social Security brings in about $4,000 a month, roughly $48,000 a year. Your baseline survival is already covered. Your portfolio isn't protecting you from starvation. It's supposed to buy life. Run the math through a Monte Carlo simulation, 10,000 different lifetimes. The median outcome after 30 years? You still have over $500,000. The lucky 20% end with over $1.2 million. Some approach $2 million. The worst cases? You're not broke, you're just leaving less money behind. And here's where people's brains short circuit. We've been trained to believe the biggest risk is running out of money, but the data shows the biggest risk is underspending during your only healthy decade. Your 60s and early 70s are when money has the highest return, not financially, but experientially. That's when travel is easy, learning is fun, movement is painless. A dollar spent at 67 is not the same as a dollar at 87, but retirement planning treats them as identical. That's the real flaw. Now let's talk about incentives. Financial advisors are usually paid based on assets under management, about 1% per year. If your portfolio stays at $1 million, they make $10,000. If it drops to $500,000 because you spent it, they make $5,000. Do you see the conflict? The industry doesn't profit when you live fully. It profits when you stay scared. BlackRock knows this. Vanguard knows this. Their own reports show that roughly half of retirees barely touch their principal after nearly 2 decades. They're not living off savings, they're hoarding growth. And then there's the cruel irony. The man who invented the 4% rule now admits it was built for 99.99% certainty. If you accept an 80% success rate, not bankruptcy, not ruin, just flexibility, the safe withdrawal rate jumps to 5.75 to 6%. That's not reckless. That's realistic. And here's the part simulations can't model. Humans adapt. If markets crash, you don't blindly keep spending. You pull back. You adjust. You respond. But the models assume you're a robot slowly draining an account. You're not. Retirement isn't a math problem, it's a regret problem. What will hurt more? Having $300,000 at 85 after living well, or dying with $1.2 million and a list of things you never did? Most people never consciously choose to die rich and live poor. They just follow a rule that quietly chooses it for them. Money is not a scoreboard. It's a tool, and tools are meant to be used, not polished and admired until the handle rots. If you retire with $600,000 and end up with $2 million, that doesn't mean you won. It means you were afraid to spend your own life.